Hi, this is Sara Levin, the Artful Inker. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I'm here to share this Slimline card featuring mountain air in winter. So let me set this aside and we'll get to the creating. For this card, we're going to start with a strip of Whisper White cardstock. It measures 3 3/4 by 8 1/4, and we're going to use the brayer to add some background in Pool Party. And I like to, when I'm using the brayer, I like to smush my ink onto my silicone craft sheet and then run my brayer through that. Now you do want to make sure you're rolling so that you get ink all the way around the brayer, and then we're going to start off the top and do a full roll and then ink that back up. And Pool Party gives a light shade. I like it for my skies often, even though it's got a hint of green in that blue. It's not quite as intense, and I know that sometimes when I'm doing the video that blue does not show up all the way. So we've got some variation in shade, which is great, because then that's like the usual sky. It's not often that our sky is completely one solid color. So next we're going to use the Mountain Air bundle, and that includes the Majestic Mountain Dies. Now when you purchase these as a bundle, you do get a 10% discount over purchasing the stamp set and dies separately. So I'm going to put on Smoky Slate ink and stamp the mountains, and then do this again. Okay, and then we need to clean this stamp, and then after cleaning we're going to turn this over and stamp with the back of the mountain stamp. Let me close up my Smoky Slate ink pad, and then I'm going to ink this with my Highland Heather, and I'm going to stamp off onto my text paper. And then I am purposely not lining up this stamp with what's behind. It gives just a little more texture to the scene. And same thing, I want to stamp off, and then we're not lining this up. Okay, and that gives us the illusion that we've got even more mountains there in our scene. So let me clean this stamp and take it off the block, and then I'm going to ink up my block. I've got my purple Posy marker that's part of the 2019-2021 in colors markers, and let's see, we've got this, and I'm just going to dot this in along the edges. That purple Posy's hard to see, but that's okay. Let me grab another piece of cardstock here and my spritzer, and I'm going to lightly spray this. I'm going to turn away from the table and let that get a little runny in there, and then let's spritz the top here. It's still too okay. And then I've got a napkin here. We're just going to blot a little bit. And then we're going to blot here a little bit. And do the same thing again. And there we go. Okay, so I'm going to take these and die cut trees from this, and I'll be right back. So I cut 4 trees from that watercolor effect that we did with the block. And then I have used the Curvy Dies that are part of a preview bundle that you can purchase that will be part of the January through May mini catalog. And there are 2 stamp sets that coordinate with that. The Quite Curvy stamp set that will also be in that mini catalog, and then the Curvy Christmas stamp set that will only be available during this preview sneak peek period. Now, if you do purchase a stamp set and a set of dies from me, I have a bundle of exclusive tutorials for you. I have used the dies to create my snowbanks for this card, and whoops, getting ahead of myself. And I've got my sponge dauber and my silicone craft sheet again, and let me take my purple posy marker. Now, as you know, we don't have a purple posy ink pad, but I do want to give a little bit of light color to the top of my snowbanks. And doing it this way with the marker on my silicone craft sheet, I can have that pale purple shade right across the top. Okay, and let me color again with my marker. Okay, now that we've added that subtle purple across the top, I want to take that purple posy marker again and scribble on my craft sheet. And then I'm going to take a little bit of my white embossing paste, just a tiny bit, and mix it in with this. Let me close that back up over here. We don't want it to dry out. And I just want this very subtly toned purple. And you'll notice I only took a real smidge of it, and we're just going to take that and kind of scrape it across here so that you get a little bit of texture on each of these snowbanks. I decided to use the purples. I don't know if you feel this way, but I'm up at lots of different times a day, and the sky and things just look different at different times a day, and I feel like there's a purple time of day and a blue time of day, and so this card represents kind of how everything looks at that purple time of day. So let me go put these in some water, and I'll be right back. And now it's time to start and assemble our card. I'm going to start with this snowdrift, and let's put some dimensionals on the back. When you just put a skim of the embossing paste on, it doesn't take but a moment for it to dry. Okay, let's pull the backing off all of these. And I am going to be hanging off the bottom and off the edge a little bit as I assemble this. And you'll notice this piece, and it fits perfectly here. So I was maximizing my cut. And again, we're going to slide this right in so that we hold, kind of cover up that piece there. And then before I push this down, I'm going to put some adhesive here. And then let's come here, and we're just going to tuck this in. Okay, so now of course we're hanging over the edge, which isn't a big deal. I'll take my paper snips and come right along the edge here. And the same thing across the bottom here. That way, doing it this way, I didn't have to be exacting in my cuts for my snowdrifts. I had some wiggle room in playing with them, which also meant that I didn't have to be as exacting in my cuts, my stamping rather, for the mountains, and then the brayering for the sky. And I like wiggle room as I create. Okay, let's make sure that we're all good here. And then I need to grab my trees over here. So this tree is going to come up the side here, and I just want a mini dimensional at the top. And then I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive on one side only, because I'm going to trim this off along the edge. Let's put that on and let it sit there a moment. And then we have these two guys, and we're going to layer them a little bit. So let's grab my dimensionals, and we're going to put full size. Oops, I thought I caught them both. So let's put a little bit of adhesive right here on this one so that we're layered up where we want to be. There we go. And then we'll come up here and put a mini dimensional at the top of each of these trees. Okay. And just checking to see here. Okay, we're good. Now the tops of these trees are going to need a double stack. Wasn't thinking that as I put the singles on. But since the snowdrift has a dimensional behind it, and we added a dimensional to, oops, this one doesn't want to stay glued to this one. We'll be all good in the end. Let's add another full-size dimensional behind this and kind of help it stay together. I know I've still got a backing on one of those. Okay. And I want these kind of in here. Let's see if I... Nope. Okay. Put the one-dimensional too low. That's okay. We're just going to slide this right in here. Okay. And then we're going to use adhesive on this guy. So you'll notice I did not punch out all of the little tree pieces, and that's because it gives me a little more flexibility. This card is all about being flexible with your pieces. Let's just add the adhesive right here and hold this down a moment so that it adheres. And then I'm going to start over on this side with my paper snips. Oops. I think maybe I'm going to start right here because I see a whole lot of glue for me to put my hand in, and we're just not going to do that. Okay, so now I can come across here. As you can see, dimensionals were low, and that's not a big deal because we just clean that right up. And then come across and right up the side. Okay, let's sweep all these little pieces out of the way and bring my base in here. Let's go ahead and move this all the way out of the way and bring in the base. It is a piece of purple posy that is 8.5 by 8 and scored at 4. And then I've got a layer of Whisper White for the inside that is 3 3/4 by 8 1/4. And I'm just adhering that with the multi-purpose glue. Make sure that's straight. Okay, and then let's pull this back in and add dimensionals to our layer. And you want to give this plenty. It is long, and dimensionals aren't expensive, so don't do so few that this piece is going to sag. Okay, let's get that out of the way and pull these backing pieces off. And then as soon as I put this down, we'll do a final little bit of embellishment. Don't forget that quite curvy bundle, and then the special edition pieces of the Curvy Christmas and the designer paper pack that go with that. They will not be, the Curvy Christmas and designer paper pack will not be available in the new catalog. Okay, and we're just going to shimmer these up a little bit with some Wink of Stella, because who doesn't like a little shimmer? Don't answer that. I know some people don't like shimmer, but I'm like a little magpie that way, and I do like some shimmery goodness. And I'm even going to stroke some in here and add just one little more element of interest to my snowbanks. Okay, and there is my Slimline card using Mountain Air and the Curvy Dies. Thanks for stopping by. This was Sara Levin, the Artful Inker. Give this video a thumbs up, share it with your card-making friends, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and click the bell if you would like to be notified the next time I upload a video. And have a great day. Bye.